It's more polite to ask them what question.
So what do you
So
want?
what do you want?
Well, thank you very much, everybody. Thanks for joining me today. Remember, every week, hang out with Michael. Now, I'm very excited. I want to talk about the program that's coming up. It's a 4-part series. Now, you know what? I've been teaching in-person seminars for a long time, literally thousands and thousands of people, sometimes thousands of people in one seminar. And the effectiveness of teaching over Google Hangouts is really blowing my socks away because it really takes my accelerated learning to a new height. I've been doing audio classes for a long time, but now that I can do this, and I can do this, and I can do this, and I can get close, and I can really influence your learning style doing Google Hangouts. So I'm very excited. And, you know, I'm going to introduce my friend Phil in a second, but again, you might have heard my story that Alex Mandossian, who is the leader in internet marketing, invited to interview me on his Hangout show. And of course, I didn't even know what that meant, other than here's the link. And I joined the show, and you know what? Within 2 minutes, I said, I am so doing this. I am doing this. Like 2 minutes. The whole time through the show, I kept saying, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do that. So I joined his show the next week, and I'm kind of doing research. And you know, I'm watching different Google Hangout shows, and then I'm inside the chat room during Alex's show, and at the very bottom I said, hey Alex, I came back. It's only my second time. First time I was on it. I never even watched one, but I had the nerve to be on one. That's like trying a new recipe with guests that you never tried before. Note to self, don't do that. So then I thought, so I joined Alex's next show, and then I'm in the chat room, and I said, hey Alex, it's Michael saying hi from Victoria. And Alex said, hey, it's my friend Michael Loge, the author of Law of Attraction. And another window popped up and said, Michael friggin' Loge. And I said, what? And he goes, it's Phil. And then I hadn't seen Phil, I think it might be 7 or 8 years, and he said, do you have a Google Hangout show? And I thought, oh. I said, no. He said, dude, you really need to have your own. And I thought, yes, I know. So then Phil has been instrumental in the technology and my website and everything. So what a perfect ideal match. I wouldn't have known how to find him if I needed him. So that was Law of Attraction. So I wasn't complaining about what I kept saying. Law of Attraction, I need to attract everything I need to do, know, or have so I can launch my show. I love knowing that the Law of Attraction is unfolding and orchestrating all the resources and sources and people and things and news that I need to do to lead me to the perfect ideal match. Michael friggin' Loge, yeah, that's me. And then we connected. So Phil, welcome. And, you know, for many years, people wanted to do things with me, and then the more I talk about, you know, they wanted to help me lead programs, and the more I talked to them, like I would say, oh, what do you like about my book? And they said, oh, I haven't read it, but you want to do a big campaign with me and you haven't read my book. So that really turned me off with working with a lot of people. And then when I met Phil, who I'd known for years ago, because he dated my assistant years ago, and that he's been teaching Law of Attraction in Spanish, I just thought, say yes if you love a match.
Yeah.
So that's what makes my business so easy to run, because I'm a deliberate attractor. I deliberately attracted Phil and my web person and this person and that person. So Phil, thank you very much for joining me today.
Well, thank you, Michael, and thank you for attracting me, really, because it was a complete accident. I was just on Alex's show that day, and I saw you in the chat and being talked about. So let me start with one thing. You mentioned about this connection that we have over Hangouts. I work with a lot of coaches. I got into Hangouts because I have a mastermind facilitator course. I teach people how to run mastermind groups, and I said, wow, this Hangout thing could be really great. And I had a lot of doubters that said, oh, no, they have to be physical meetings in rooms where you could feel and touch and sense everything. But you know what? You could feel what's happening in a Hangout room. In this little panel we have, I could feel, oh, maybe, oh, Judy's really in a great mood today, or wait, now something's going on with Terry, I don't know. And you feel it before they even open their mouth. So there is that sense to this whole thing. And Michael, one other thing, you know, you were very envious of Oprah, and you got on her show. But she's now envious of you because you have an international, worldwide show, and she doesn't.
Now, don't be beating up Oprah. She's my new BFF.
All right. Well, let me do this. We do have a very fascinating, promising training class for you. Listen to this whole thing. I'm going to give a really brief presentation, about 15 minutes to review the whole thing, and then we're going to open it up to questions that you could make in the chat. But again, the promise of technology and something as intimate as Hangouts is what makes this possible. So, I mean, before, would Michael to do private training in hotel rooms would be very expensive and only available to a few. So, okay, I'm gonna go into this presentation, and Michael will control the the screen if he wants it on me or him.
Sure.
And here's the thing. Okay, so what every small business owner, entrepreneur, and salesperson ought to know about applying the law of attraction to their business for faster and more consistent results with less stress. Now here's the point I want to make about this. Usually in business, when you think about faster and better results, it's usually equated with more stress. and that's just the way it goes. Okay, I'm willing to take this on. I'm willing to take this on. I'm going to take on all this new stress. But the point here is to turn ideas and emotion into business opportunities is something that should be natural to you. There's not one successful entrepreneur on this planet like a Steve Jobs that doesn't do this naturally. And it's within your grasp. So that's what this is about. Okay, now here's a false paradigm. Being responsible means thinking through each problem. Every business school or great mentor that you have is going to say, you know what, you got to face up to it. You got to face that problem head on and be responsible, get rid of it. But thoughts become things. So what happens when you think about that problem and add emotion to it because it's a problem? Well, the law of attraction is going to match that. And so thoughts become things, but thoughts with emotions become things faster. So here's it is. And let me just throw out a metaphor for you. I chose Aikido because Aikido is the martial art that instead of confronting an obstacle, you guide it, you redirect it. And so the law of attraction acts like an emotional Aikido black belt. Instead of confront, you don't have to run away to the beach and say, oh, that problem doesn't exist, let me think about something else. But if you could redirect it and choose what you do want to focus on, that's as simple as the solution needs to be. And Michael, I know this is where this might be a little controversial, I hear, Michael, but why is the law of attraction not very smart?
Yeah, well, I've got in trouble for saying that. Well, not that I got in trouble, but people were a little offended when I said the law of attraction is not very smart, but it is very obedient. And a lot of people give too much credit to the law of attraction. They'll say, oh, the universe will figure it out. The universe knows what I want. Guess what? The universe doesn't know what you want. It's matching your vibration. Oh, the universe will decide for me. No, the universe won't decide. It's matching your vibration. Oh, the universe is testing me. No, the universe isn't testing you. It's just matching your vibration. Oh, it showed up 3 times. I'm not supposed to have it. No, it showed up 3 times because you gave it attention and energy the second and third time. So back to this model, law of attraction is obedient. It's obedient. It has the 2-word job description, match vibrations. And then it says, well, okay, let's test it. Here's a negative vibration. What do I do with it? Match it. Oh, here's a negative vibration. What do I do with it? Match it. That's what, it's simple. That's the law. That's why it's called the law. I didn't create it. I'm just teaching it. So the words that I'm, go ahead, Phil.
No. I was just that's a great summary, but you make it sound too easy.
Yeah, well, you know what? I made it easy, and you know, I'm judging whether I should say this, but on Amazon, the people that don't like my book, and there's only a few, you know what they don't like? Is that it's too easy. Look at me. Hello, I wrote it to be easy. That's why I wrote it. No, it's too easy. Yeah, I know. I wrote it that way. So guess what? This wasn't easy until I explained the easiness of it. A lot of people didn't understand, if you work backwards, oh, you mean the results that I'm getting are because of the vibe that I'm sending? Yes. Well, where am I getting these vibes? Oh, they're coming from my thoughts. So what's in the, so I know it sounds easy, but it's a big aha for most people. So let's work backwards, Phil. If I want to have different results, I need to go back and change the vibe and the feelings and the thoughts and the words. So my job during this program is to do 2 things. One thing is to brainwash you. Is to wash your brain of the words that aren't serving you. And the second thing is to give you the tools and processes so you can use the right words to form the right thoughts, to send the right vibes, to get the results that you want. Go ahead, Phil.
Beautiful, beautiful. But here's the thing. This is why it's hard, and this is why it's not your fault. You program deep within your brain, your reptilian complex, there's a defense mechanism that when something negative approaches, all of a sudden your heartbeat goes up and your mind becomes very attentive. It's here to defend you. So that's why don't not know becomes such a natural part of your conversation. You don't want something, you defend against it. It's a natural part of your brain. And so that's why it's not that easy to just take it conceptually and say, okay, I'm going to change my life forever now. I understand this. What has to happen is you have to include it in your vibrational bubble, what you do want. And Michael, what is this thing, vibrational bubble? I know you've had a whole show on this, but what?
Yeah, there was this episode on this. I kind of made up the term vibrational bubble. Let's read it backwards. It's a bubble that contains your vibrations. Say yes if that makes sense. Yeah, that's what it is. Yes. So if you imagine around me is my vibe. So remember the rule, law of attraction is always matching vibrations. So the question becomes, what is the vibration that I'm sending? In other words, if I had a little bubble or a shield around me, and law of attraction is eavesdropping inside of my vibration, it's trying to find out the vibration that I'm sending. So this woman here, she's like in a bubble. So her vibes are not on the piece of paper that's on her desk. Her vibe is a result of whatever she's thinking or talking or observing or smelling or doing. That's the vibe that she's sending. That's where law of attraction is sending. And if we want to be deliberate attractors, that means tapping into law of attraction deliberately. I want to say it again. If you want to be a deliberate attractor, which means that you can attract things deliberately, like Phil, like this show, like this, like that, like the gig in Palm Springs and the gig here, everything that I'm doing, it's all because I'm a deliberate attractor. And in order to be a deliberate attractor, you need to be doing something deliberate. What am I going to do deliberate? You're going to hang out with me and understand more about how do I watch the words? How do I put this in my bubble? What else do I need to do? Phil?
So here's the key to the transformation of everything Michael just mentioned. Well, there's 3 steps here. I'm going to go through this quickly because Michael just spent a show on this. But the first step is to launch a little program in your mind that intercepts this consciously, because so every time a do not know comes up, you intercept it, and what do? What he talked about today. You rephrase it to what you do want. What I meant to say is you're going to catch yourself doing this. It's not going to be a switch that you turn on and off.
Yes.
And then the last step is what we just talked about here, is to play the inclusion game. Michael, what's the inclusion game?
Well, the inclusion game is just the way it sounds. It's including. What am I including? You're including stuff in my bubble. Well, how do I include it? Well, if I'm daydreaming about something that I want to do in the future, when I daydream, I'm giving it attention. And when I give it attention, it gets included. And now I'm thinking about, oh, wow, I'm going to Las Vegas to do that seminar at that conference. And I'm thinking, what else would I like to do there? Matter of fact, I'd like to do another seminar while I'm there. I'm going to include that in my vibration. And now I'm going to talk about it. I'm thinking, that'd be cool. This other company's paying for my trip to get down there. And I have friends down there. I could do another law. I love that idea. And just by giving it excitement, attention, energy, and focus, now I've included it. So the inclusion games means include it in your vibration. Now, be careful not to include the things that you don't want. Judy, this is for you. When I'm complaining about how I don't like something that's happening in my business, when I'm complaining, am I including that in my vibration?
Yes.
Yes. And now I'm worried about something. Now I'm worried about not making enough sales or not getting the right staff. Now I'm worried about that. When I'm worrying, am I including that in my vibration?
Yes.
Yes. And now I'm daydreaming about, oh, what if this happens and what if this problem? And now I'm building this big cycle, this hole about what I don't want. Is that getting included in my vibration?
Yes.
Thank you. Let's go back to our lovely lady in the green. What is she including in her vibration? Hey, there's 2 ways to find out. There's 2 ways to know what you're including in your vibrational bubble. One way is by what you're getting. If you got it, it had to have been in your bubble. So, oh, look what I attracted. If you attracted it, it had to have been in your bubble. That's one way. The other way to tell what's in your vibrational bubble is by how you're feeling. If you're feeling crappy, guess what? It's in your bubble. So say yes. Well, I'm going to say it for you. Yes, we know that we need to play the inclusion game because law of attraction is responding to how I feel about when I do anything. So now I want to include what I want in my business. I want to include the ideal prospect and the ideal opportunity and the ideal client and the ideal this and the ideal that. Go ahead, Phil.
Okay, so here's the key of key. Michael mentioned this magic word today called habits. So habits are simply represent the process of moving repetitive routines from the conscious mind to the unconscious mind. And the unconscious mind in the process of law of attraction is connected to universal mind. That's where all the power comes from. So if you could make this a natural habit, if you can automatically change your no, dot, and don'ts into what you do want, and it's a challenge. It doesn't happen overnight. So here's what we're proposing. Is to become a deliberate attractor. First, make law of attraction an unconscious habit. How do you do that? focused repetition. It starts off in the conscious brain. But then working with like-minded people is a big plus, because when you go to the workplace tomorrow or Monday and you're trying to apply all these techniques and you're confronted with all this negativity, it's a challenge. When you're working with people that have the same intentions, it starts to flow. And you feel like you're progressively improving. That's a feeling. That's a flow. So here's the thing. The Master Attractor Training with Michael Lozier. Do you want to attract the perfect client, business partner, referrals, leads, investors, joint ventures, or just opportunities to get you to exactly where you want to be? Michael mentioned this coming out of the closet with the law of attraction word. Well, every successful person does this unconsciously. They work at it until it becomes a natural part of their flow, of their personality, of their energy. Isn't that so, Michael?
Mm-hmm. It's just natural. They don't have to practice it. People that are abundant aren't setting the vibration of abundance deliberately. They're just observing their abundantness. They're talking about being abundant. They're buying what they want. They have. So they're just observing their abundantness. They don't have. The rest of us have to be more deliberate about setting that vibration. And that's what we're talking here. That's, being a master attractor, to me, it's always a process. It's mastery. I'm mastering applying law of attraction, and that just means, what am I doing? What am I thinking? What am I saying? And how am I using it? It's not just for parking spaces anymore. This is serious stuff. This is to build big businesses.
Well, awesome. And so here's how we're going to do this. There's a 4-part training class. Training class number 1, identify your desires. Michael, what are you going to do here?
Okay, well, you know what? I've developed some processes that help people get clear, because law of attraction says the very first thing, well, you can place an order, but you need to know what you want to order. I mean, I know that when I used to order pizza, I didn't call the pizza place and say, here's all the things I don't want on my pizza. So, they say, what? So before you place the order to order a pizza, you sit down with your buddies and say, okay, what do we want on it? And how do we get clear? This is for you, Penny. Penny, when I'm going through what I want, clarity on what I want on my pizza, how do I know what I do want on my pizza? How do I figure that out?
Oh, by the contrast from everything you don't want.
That's right. It's like, oh, that's too spicy, or that's too pureed, or that's got cilantro in it. So the very first step here, Phil, is like, we need to understand what our desire is. How do I know what I want? I've developed an 8-minute process. Penny, how long is it?
8 minutes.
8 minutes, an 8-minute process to help you get clear about what you want. This is the part where you're going to do many of these. I'm teaching this as a formula. We love a formula. You're going to say, okay, I want to identify my ideal client, my ideal purchase, my ideal employee, my ideal contract, and you're going to duplicate the process, because it's a 3-step process. Very good. Thank you, Phil. I'm excited about this one. Most people don't know what they do want, but they know what they don't want, and I'm going to teach them how to do that.
Okay, so now we got what we do want, and we're going to give that desire attention. How do we do this? Is it just a switch that we flip on?
Well, you know what? Remember I talked about the vibrational bubble, and in order to attract anything, I need to give it attention. So if I'm over lunch, Phil, I'm going to talk to you about this great idea I have about something. When I'm telling you about my great idea, just by talking about it causes me to give it attention, and then it gets included. So this law of attraction says you can attract it if you give it attention. But if I take my list of what I want and I tuck it in my sock drawer, law of attraction isn't looking there. So I need to be doing something to give it attention. And I'm going to teach people how to do stuff. And everything that in my work is all about words. You know why? Because you can travel that way. You can sit on an airplane like I do, and you can do the 3-step process. Identify what I want, build a desire statement. That's what we're going to teach in the class. How do I wrap words around my desire? It's important for me to talk about what I want, but I don't like using affirmations to do that because they don't work for a lot of people. I'm going to explain that too. So first thing you're going to do is figure out, what am I going to work on? Remember, in this program, you're going to work on one thing. You're going to go through the whole 3-step process, but then when you're done, you have a formula. So, wow, I got a formula to use. So step number 2, I'm going to teach you how to give it attention. Listen to me and look at me through your words. You don't have to make a macaroni collage. You don't have to visualize. You don't have to do a dream board. You're just going to use words. Remember, I told you the words we use form the thoughts we think, form the vibes we send, form the results that we get. So step number 2, I'm going to teach you how to give it desire. Hey, Phil, wouldn't it be nice if it was a 2-step process? We'd all be done. You know, oh, you know what? I built my list and made a collage. I'm done. Oh, I built my list and I told all my girlfriends and boyfriends, I'm done. Tell us the bad news, Phil.
Well, here's the thing, and this baffles me to no end. At all the time and attention I've given to the law of attraction, why is the step 3, allowing it, the most difficult? I mean, Michael, if you're about to hand me a contract, a multi-million-dollar contract for services, don't I just have to extend my hand and say, okay, I'll take it? But why do people block this? Why is this the most difficult step?
Well, it's the most difficult step because people don't understand it. They don't understand what allowing means. So I'm just going to go back to the pizza example. So the very first thing, Judy and I are going to order a pizza. So we went through and we decided what we didn't like to help us get what we liked. We invited Penny and Terry too. So we're going to have a big pizza. We know what we want on it. So if I have the list about what I want on my pizza, is that going to guarantee its delivery? No, I haven't ordered it yet. Knowing what you want doesn't place the order. So collectively, we all figured out here's what we want in our pizza, but we haven't given attention, energy, and focus. Well, how do you do that? Well, you call the pizza place and say, hey, I'd like to order a pizza. Is that giving it attention, energy, and focus, yes or no? And now I'm going to tell them what the list is, and now I set the energy in motion by the order. Boy, that was fun. I gave it attention, energy, and focus. And then we ordered it, and now the pizza person's here, but we haven't let them in. We're not allowing them in. So what do? We order it again. I'd like to order, oh, that's a pizza order. I'd like to order another pizza, please, from a different place, because it wasn't delivered fast enough. Have you ever put it out to Law of Attraction and said, where is it at, please? I've done everything. Why is it not being delivered? Where's my pizza, please? I'd like another one. So guess what? You ordered another one. You put the sentient energy in motion. Someone's knocking on your door. Now there's 2 pizza people out the aisleway. Matter of fact, every time you replace the order and replace the order, now they're all lined up, but you haven't allowed them in. So do you need to give more attention to what you want or more attention to allowing them in? Terry, do I need to give more attention to what I want or more attention to allowing them in?
More attention to allowing them in.
That's right. It's like, oh, I placed the order, and that's what we do with Law of Attraction. Oh, it's not here yet. I better build a bigger collage. I better tell more friends. I better tell my friends on Facebook. I better make a macaroni collage. We think we need to give it more attention. Guess what? That's not where your work is. Your job is to allow it. You can look back at episodes. I've talked about allowing a lot. Why? It's the most important step of the formula. The speed at which you'll attract anything you desire, well, wouldn't it be nice if it was in direct proportion to how much you wanted it? Yes, but my macaroni collage, look how big it is. It's 7 feet wide. Shouldn't I attract it now? I've told 2,100 friends. I've prayed every night for it. How come it's not here yet? Listen to this. The speed at which Law of Attraction will manifest your desire is determined on how much you're allowing. Terry, remind me of the most important step in the formula.
There's so many formulas. Which
the 3-step formula, the most important step is allowing.
Is allowing.
And we're going to spend a whole hour on that. And you know I'm the how-to guy. I'm going to teach you how to allow. Hey, remember I was telling you that I was interviewed by Oprah Winfrey 4 times on her radio station? I had my own radio show for a whole year. And guess what? Look at me. I never made a phone call. Mm-hmm. I never solicited. I never sent books. I never pitched. I got clear about what I wanted. I gave it attention, energy, and focus. I remember telling people the story, and in my Victoria friends, this was when I was starting out in people's basements and living rooms and churches and bingo halls, doing this work anywhere I could talk about it. And I remember telling the story about I wanted to be on Oprah, and you know how Dr. Phil was on Tuesdays? And it was Dr. Phil Tuesdays, and I thought, I'm going to have Michael Mondays. That sounds kind of cute. I'm going to have myself a Michael Monday. So I kept talking about Michael Monday, Michael Monday, Michael Monday. And here's the irony of it all. When Oprah interviewed me, 4 half-hour interviews, they played that first week's interview for 7 days. And then they played interview number 2 for 7 days. So guess what? I was Michael Monday, Michael Tuesday, Michael Wednesday, Michael Thursday, Michael Friday, Michael Saturday, Michael Sunday, and I never made a phone call. I don't have a business card. Say yes if you love that.
Yes.
Okay, enough about me, Phil. Go ahead, please.
Sorry, Mike. I was checking my door to see how many pizza delivery people were standing out there.
Yes.
I love that.
Can someone allow the pizza guy in, please?
I've got food for a month. All right. Okay, well, here's class number 4. And Michael, this is also, I have to challenge you on this. How are people going to share success stories in just 4 short weeks? I mean, this sounds a little incredible.
Well, not with focus and attention. You know, I belong, you know, the reason where I am today is because I stayed focused. I surrounded myself with like-minded people, and people have more courage for me than other people do. Say yes if you, everybody turn yourself off mute. I have more courage for you than you do, Judy. Is that true?
That's true.
Yeah. Now, Penny, I've stretched you a few times. Do I have more courage for you than you have for yourself?
You absolutely do.
Yes. Terry, I know you've been on mastermind teams. Do people stretch your ideas sometimes and make you go bigger than you wanted to?
Yes.
Yes. If I didn't have mastermind teams in my life or people around my life, you know what? I'd still be doing my presentations in bingo halls, and there's nothing wrong with that. But my goal was to stimulate and inspire people, more people, and by the hundreds. That's what I wanted to do. Got really clear about that. Good.
Well,
it's all about, for me, it's about sharing success stories.
I love that, Michael, because this really anchors the whole experience. In just 4 weeks, you'll be able to listen to other people. It'll anchor your successes. There'll be things that you attracted that you might even realize until you hear from other people. Wow, I did that too. Yeah. So this is really important. But there's one other thing we're going to do in training class number 4, and you just mentioned the word, your mastermind team. So what we're going to do in this training class is we're going to send you a quick survey. We're going to find out about the time frames and the days that are ideal for you. We're going to put you in mastermind teams, and this is really, really big. I mean, mastermind teams, anybody who's been involved in business, you know that the power, the simple description, I mean, what is a mastermind group and how will it help me achieve my goals? The definition of a mastermind is a small group of people, usually less than 10, that get together with a common big purpose, and they work in the spirit of harmony to dissolve all the obstacles and attain their goals. And that's what a mastermind teams have been involved throughout our whole history. The word first appeared in Napoleon Hill's book Think and Grow Rich, but the principle of a mastermind team, small group of people working in harmony to attain big things, has been throughout the course of history. And how is this going to apply to your life? Well, we're going to put you in mastermind teams. They're going to be people like there are on this show right now from all over the world. What you'll have in common is the intention of getting to the next level of big things in your business, and you'll be working together with all the 4 training classes that you had, and we're going to give you exercises, things to do together, and you'll see that this is something that will start to flow, because no matter what your outside world, what's going on in your outside world, this will be your haven. This will be the place where you get together with like-minded people and use the energy, because here's what happens in a mastermind team. There's 5 people in this picture right now. Well, when these 5 people get together, the word mastermind means that there's a 6th person, entity that arises, and it's the energy of those 5 people working in harmony that creates that 6th entity, which is the combined energy of all those 5 people. So if you have 1 person in that group or 2 people in the group that are going somewhere else, that are being negative, that are not really doing, then that team is not going to be that great. If you have all 5 people working in a spirit of harmony, this thing is going to be multiplied. Michael, you've had experiences with masterminds. How did it work?
Yeah, well, the same thing. It's like you said, I'm only going to have 10 minutes, but I'm with 6 people. Well, you know what? You get really focused. I thought, wow, I've got 3 minutes to talk about my success stories. And it's like, you know what? I need more than 3 minutes. I promise you, when you become a deliberate attractor, you're going to need more than 3 minutes. And then I would tell them, oh, you know what? Here's what I'd like to attract next. And somebody in the group would say, oh, I'm connected to that, or I can help you here, or I'll work with you, or I'll coach you around that. And everybody has the same goal. Everybody wants everyone to be successful. So, for those of you that have been mastermind teams, you don't need to be convincing. For those of you that are tired of gathering steam alone, that's from my friend Janet. She did a workshop called Tired of Gathering Steam Alone. Well, you know what? The mastermind team's perfect, so come gather steam with me and the other people so you can move forward and be supported by people that want you to move forward as well. You're going to help them, they're going to help you.
And here's the thing, many people say they have mastermind meetings, but they last for 4 hours and everybody talks on end. What Michael just mentioned is key. Not only am I going to train you how to have a successful mastermind meeting, I run a course in Spanish, I've trained over 300 facilitators, but I'm going to give you a piece of free software that runs with Hangouts that's the chronometer, that anybody could facilitate the meeting. I'm going to teach you how to use it. You could rotate who's the facilitator, and not only is it going to help you keep track of the time, if everybody speaks for 10 minutes, there's a chronometer. At the end, you record everybody's goals that they're going to attain before the next meeting, and it gets recorded in the software. And if next week I say, hey, Michael, why don't you facilitate today? I pass it to him, and he's got all the goals recorded there, so nothing gets erased, and everybody progressively improves. This is really, really big.
Yes. Yeah, okay. Phil, you know, my hunch is there's some people that want to join the program, and they also have a strong sense of leadership. So each one of those teams is going to need a leader to get it started. So what a way to take leadership of this mastermind team, and then down the road, you could be forming your own mastermind teams around this material that you learn and start making money doing it that way. But Phil's going to teach you how to do that really, really well. This is what's missing from a lot of books and programs and training. It's like, now that you learn it, that now what? Well, we're going to keep you connected to it, just like like me going across the street and talking about law of attraction at Starbucks. You're going to be in this energy more deliberately, and you're going to start attracting like-minded people all over.
Exactly, and that software to run mastermind teams is yours for life. It runs with Hangouts, and I'm constantly improving it. So here's the thing. Your 4-week law of attraction training and mastermind team, it starts off with signing up, and I'm going to give you the link in just a second. But one other key point is that the training, the learning center that we have for this, where all the recordings of the live meetings, all this is done in live trainings in Hangouts, but all the recordings are going to be in the learning center along with other tips and advice. You could access that from any device, a PC, Mac, smartphone, or iPad. So that's good to know, right? If you're in a park somewhere and you got a Wi-Fi connection, you want to see last week's recording, there you go. We're also going to have a private Google Plus community that only the people in this training course will be part of, so that's another way for you to network. Even outside of your mastermind group, you're going to find people from all over the world with like opportunities, joint venture opportunities, all the great things you want to attract. And our intention is to exceed your highest expectation. How are we going to do this? Well, first, you get trained by the top Law of Attraction how-to guy, Michael Lozier. All right. And next, you're going to network with motivated business people from around the world. You're going to access the Learning Center from any time, from any device. You're going to eliminate your blockers and reach your highest goals with your mastermind team. You're going to make friends and contacts for life. That's just a natural outcome of the mastermind meetings and the community. And become a Law of Attraction business expert and multiply your results in record time. Michael, this is a pretty high bar we set.
Yes. Well, you know what? I'm not. I was going to say I'm not scared to make a promise, but how can I reword that? I am very confident about making promises about law of attraction, and I'm also very comfortable about giving a guarantee, because it's not my guarantee. It's the guarantee of law of attraction. And here's the guarantee: when you change your vibration, you change your results. And my job is to teach you how to change your vibration. And law of attraction will look after the rest. People credit me with attracting things, as all I did was influence your vibration. And I influence it by what I taught you and what I'm asking you to do and what I'm asking you to say. And when you do that, you change the vibration, and then you'll change the results. Everything that's happening to you is because of you. And I can influence what you think and say so you can attract more of what you want, so you can have a rich, full, delicious life. Say yes if you're in. Yes.
Amen.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, well, here's the part you've been waiting for. Be part of Michael's inaugural team. This is the first time we're launching this, and again, we attracted this opportunity to be able to do this together with the magic of technology internationally, day one. And when we first sat down to talk about the planning of this, we came up with a price of $497. You mentioned Alex Mendosian, Michael. He has a mastermind team of $50,000 for a year. And obviously these are people of CEOs of companies, and they do it because of the networking and the ability to connect with all these different people. So $497 for this training is a very reasonable price, and that's where we're going to go. But we have something missing right now, which is you. We need case studies. We need to be able to see how the mastermind team and see your feedback and really just learn from you on how all this and how fast it happens. So we want to have an introductory offer of $347 for this whole package, and wait, because we've got some bonuses we haven't even talked about yet, but we wanted to do even more. We wanted to make this so attainable that there was really not even a second thought here. So an introductory offer of just $97 and one more payment of $97 in 30 days. And we think this is within, even if you're in that last week's group of unemployed, this should be within your grasp. If you really want to take hold of everything that you want to and become a deliberate attractor, this is well within your means now. And this is a very rich experience. Now let me just keep on going for a second, because there's some bonuses here that are really going to make this a no-brainer. And this is the URL. You can go visit it. There's a nice green button at the very top that you could sign up for this right now. Hang out with Michael.com/business. There are limited seatings because each mastermind team is going to have between 5 and 8 people, no more. And we're only going to have a handful of these teams that we're going to launch. So as soon as we have a nice balanced number of people, and it's a little bit of logistical exercise, we're going to send you a survey, find out what times you could meet. We're going to work with you until we organize your teams, and then we're going to close the doors. We're not sure how fast that's going to happen. So you can go there and sign up. But first, we've got 2 very, very big bonuses. The first one is the Vibrational Business Plan. Michael, what is this all about?
Yeah, so we're all loving the Vibrational Business Plan. You know, I've helped entrepreneurs for many years develop the traditional business plan, which is a really frustrating and annoying process. It's very important, by the way. Having a business plan helps set the energy in motion. But one of the challenges with that traditional business plan is that people think they need to stay on the plan. I've heard people say, you have to plan your plan and then work it. But in the world of law of attraction, as soon as you set the energy in motion, law of attraction starts to bring you stuff that are bigger and better than what you thought. If I stayed with my business plan, I wouldn't be where I was today. So the business plan is important. I'm going to ask Terry. Terry has done her business plan, so has Penny. They're going to show us theirs. So I think it's about a 45-minute audio, and it's the process that I use to build a business plan. It looks a little bit similar to that. See all the stickies? By the way, it's not the business plan you take to the bank or you take to an investor. The purpose of this business plan is to help you set an energy in motion, what it is that you want to do in your business. So Terry and then Penny, Terry, point to your vibrational business plan that you did.
There it is.
Okay, see it with the pink sticky against your whole wall? Yeah, there's different sections on it. We're not going to tell you what they are. And boy, when you do this business plan, it's like, well, this is exciting as opposed to, oh, this is frustrating. Thanks, Terry, for sharing that. Oh, I see another one on the wall. That is Penny's vibrational business plan, and all of it's intended to give positive vibration towards our business. So thank you. So and that's a class that's already been recorded. You'll get a copy of that. You can do it right away.
Okay, and here's another bonus, and this one's pretty special. Google Hangouts for Business Workshop. Let me ask you something. When you saw Michael's show for the first time, were you a little envious? Did you say, hey, I want to do that? I know Michael did when he saw Alex's show for the first time.
I did. I remember when Alex Mendoza invited me, I got into the show, and within 2 minutes I'm doing, I think I did this already today, I'm going to do it again. I want to be in there. I want my own show. That's all I could say is I want my own show. So then I thought, well, I'm going to do my research. I'm going to watch, and then I watched the Alex show, and that's how I met Phil. So my hunch is there's people out there, and I know the people on the panel right now, because they've been on my panel, they're poised and ready to have their own show. They understand how to do the control, how to use the software, and so on. But you know who the expert in that is? It's my friend Phil. So go ahead, Phil.
Well, here's the thing. You don't need to be a domain expert in the law of attraction like Michael or a best-selling author to have a show. When you could position yourself as a leader in your market just by being a great interviewer. What does Oprah do? She doesn't position herself as the leader of everything. She's the best interviewer on the planet, and that's how she made her billions. So I'll teach you this. I'll give you tips about how to conduct a great interview. And if you're in a market and you've got an ideal client that you're now attracting, you know what that ideal client looks like, feels like, thinks, and you could say, hey, what are the challenges to my ideal client? You could ask your ideal client, hey, what are your main challenges? You could attract experts to interview on your show. Your show could be a half hour a week. This is not a never-ending new project that will take you forever. Now, you can conduct an interview series. Let's just say that your ideal client wants to learn how to launch their own business, and you have some experience on that. But what if you attract 3 or 4 or 5 experts on the topic? A venture capital person, a marketing person, an organizational person, and you interview them. Now, let me give you one other tip. What happens if you get to permission to use the transcript of that show for your next book? Do you think you could write more books than Michael in a year just by doing shows for a half hour and going to Odesk or Fiverr and getting transcripts of your videos? I'm using people on Fiverr all the time. You know what they're charging me? $5 to transcribe a 10-minute video. For less than $50, you could get a 3 or 4 or 5-part interview series transcribed into a book. What do you think that Rhonda Byrne did with The Secret? Did she write any of that? No, she did the interviews and put her name on it and became one of the best-selling authors of all time. So the point is, you don't need to do this to become millionaire-selling books like Michael. What you could do is identify the key issues with your ideal client, do an interview series, because what is all about being on Amazon today? I go to Amazon to find a solution of something. I do click, it's on my Kindle. I go running to the beach on a Sunday to read it. So all of a sudden you could use your book as an attractor of more ideal clients for your business. Is that awesome or what, Michael?
Oh yeah, it's, and part of it is that the little model that my trainers hear me say is, number one, people pay for information and experts make more money. So you're already an expert in things. You might as well surround yourself with experts and take something with that information, because people will pay for it, and how to repackage it. So, this alone is a class that has great value for all the participants.
And one other benefit to your business is that for some reason, I'm being kind of sarcastic here, Google is ranking Hangout videos way above and faster than uploading your video that you did with your camera. So when you do Hangouts, I've done interviews with people to help them launch their product, and my videos are number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 above that person who's the expert who's been on YouTube for 7 years. So I'm telling you, this is just a little insider thing with Google, but if you start doing Hangouts instead of uploading videos, you could dominate the first page of YouTube for your keywords if you do this correctly, and I'm going to show you how. The other thing is you could monetize your mastermind skills. I'm going to give you software. I'm going to train you how to be a facilitator. All of a sudden, what happens if you go to your Chamber of Commerce meetings and say, you know what, I want to open up a mastermind team. We want to tackle this problem, and I'm looking for like-minded people that really have the same purpose in mind. And you could monetize that, okay? And bottom line to all this is you become a celebrity in your niche. What's so great about being a celebrity? Things come to you. It's the law of attraction on steroids. Instead of constantly struggling to get attention, to get publicity, to get recognition, all of a sudden you're positioned in the middle of your industry, conducting interviews. One other tip that we'll talk about is interview your competition. It sounds crazy, but it's not. All of a sudden, if you're a coach, I have this in the Spanish market. These coaches are interviewing their other coaches, and they're meeting them all in the private community. And all of a sudden you say, well, that's ridiculous. Aren't you just going to help people on your show find that other coach and go to them? No, it positions you in the middle of the industry. So look at this person interviewing all these different coaches. So same thing here. This is such a powerful strategy. And Michael's and I intent was to take these 2 bonuses and just add it on top of this 4-part series and make this a no-brainer. Yeah, so again...
I just wanted to interrupt Phil and say, Phil's not very excited about this at all.
No, wait till I go back to my video. I want to show you one other thing. But hangoutwithmichael.com/business. It's going to be a pleasure to work with you on all this. This is going to be one of the bonuses. I have this planned as a 2-hour hangout. It might last 4 hours. I don't know. It depends how interactive we are. I really don't care. I really just want to help you get these results, and you'll be for life. Connected to this thing. So be part of this life-impacting experience, engaging, profitable, and wise. And again, there's the domain to go check this out. There's a full sales page if you want to read the whole thing, but if not, just click one of the pretty green buttons at the top and you're in. Let me just show you something. This is my best friend, because I've been traveling for 4 years, and I have 1,000 books on my Kindle here. And this is the new thing. You don't have to have a best-selling paperback in 33 languages to have this be useful to you. Kindle has become this very impulsive thing. I might have an issue, something that's irking me. Ooh, I want to learn how to use Google+. I'll go into Amazon real quick, download a book for $2.99 or 99 cents, and it's on my Kindle, and I go to the beach and I go read it. And now what did it do? Is it the most profound thing my whole life? No, but it gave me tips. It gave me something to think about. And you could do the same thing. You could easily publish guides, a 24-page guide. It doesn't have to be a novel. And you could do it just by transcribing your Hangouts. And all of a sudden I'll teach you how to position it using your Hangouts. You could have links from your Hangouts to your book on Amazon. and now Amazon's working for you, attracting customers. So anyway, Michael, thank you for letting me rampage a little bit, but as you said, I am very excited about this.
Yeah, very good. I can tell you're excited. We're excited too. Hey, that was longer than we thought, but you know, you guys hang in there and you had some great questions. And again, the web address is underneath my name there. I'm very excited. Again, next show, we are talking about do I need to take action or not? That's our next show. I want to thank Phil for joining us and helping describe this great program that's coming up. I want to thank everybody that's told anybody about the show to help it be very successful. Stay tuned for next week's show. We'll see you then. Thank you very much, everybody. Let's say goodbye.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.